Hi kids, I'm going to read you another story tonight. This is sort of a twisted version of one of your grandfather's stories. He wrote it as a fictional character called Mr. French. Here's the foreword to it. This account of Mr. French's story, The Fireman Slide, has been drastically modified from the original. Mr. French's spelling and grammar were so bad that his writing could not be understood. The reader of this version will need to remember Mr. French's vitality and exuberance when he told the story in person. Mr. French was not totally happy with his rendition, but he said in the end, "I think you can do it, so that my story can be published." Little Frenchie lived in France with his mama and papa and brothers and sisters. They lived at the western edge of the Alpine mountains near the sea. One day, Papa was in town, and a workman was tearing down a tall building. On the side of the building was a fireman's slide. It was very long and deep. Papa asked the workman if he could have this slide, and the workman said, "You may have it." So Papa disassembled the great slide and brought it home. Behind their house was a big hill, so Papa drove stakes and secured the slide sections, bolting it all together into one great long tube. Only it was like the top half of the tube was sliced off. When it was all finished, Papa said, "In the morning, I think you can play on the slide." Frenchie could hardly sleep that night. He was so excited. Morning finally came, and the wondrous smell of Mama's pancakes wafted through the house. They ate great stacks of the buttermilk cakes, heaped high with melting butter and warm syrup running down the sides. There were also great fat bear sausages. Frenchie liked to rub the sausages in the syrup, around and around to soak it, and then he would plunk the savory morsel into his mouth. He washed it all down with hot chocolate to warm his innards. Then they set off for the slide. It was a warm, sunny, fall day with a myriad of colors in the falling leaves. When they got to the slide, it was decided that a soft landing was needed, so they got wooden rakes and heaped leaves in a huge pile at the bottom of the slide. Then up and up they climbed to the very top. It was decided that Frenchie would go first. He was a little afraid, but he wouldn't say so. He climbed into the deep-welled slide, and down the tube he plunged. Faster and faster he flew, coming to the leveled-off bottom at full speed before sailing into the leaves. The leaves fluttered everywhere, glittering yellow and orange and red in the golden sunlight, flashing against the blue sky background before tumbling into the green grass. Frenchie's face lit up with joy, but then a frown creased his brow as he wondered. "That was a lot of fun, but what was that rip I heard?" For as he hit the bottom of the slide there had been a terrific tearing and ripping sound. Upon examination, Frenchie discovered that his pants were split wide right in the rear. He hollered to the top, "Don't come down, my pants ripped." And he turned and showed how his pants had a hole torn in the bottom. They all ran down, with little Frenchie, and they examined at the bottom of the slide. Sure enough, there was a rusted spot that turned into a little jagged piece of metal sticking up. Frenchie proclaimed, "I think that maybe this is the problem." Together they pondered the situation, and in the end trooped back to the top of the fireman's slide with a squarish piece of cardboard. Again Frenchie went first, sitting on the cardboard, Mama having patched his breeches. Down he whisked and sailed into the pile of leaves. Sitting on the ground, Frenchie thought, "That was terrific, but what do you think? I heard that rip again." Frenchie felt his backside, and was relieved to find Mama's stitchwork still holding. Well then, what do you suppose was that rip? But when he examined the cardboard, he found the rip was in it. All that day the children played on the slide and in the leaves. Papa's fireman slide was a big success, and the cardboard saved their britches. That was an interesting version. Anyway, that's the end. Good night, kids. I love you.